how to decorate and cook with autumn squashes, and meet a psychic who has dinner with a ghost. Well, Halloween doings and autumn doings this half hour. Welcome. Meet a woman who knows the spirit, or I should say spirits, of Halloween. Psychic Annette Martin dines regularly with a ghost, the Blue Lady of the Moss Beach Distillery. Annette also teaches others to develop their psychic powers, and she has written books about that, including Discovering Your Psychic World. She also has a tape out on guided meditation called Peaceful White Light. Welcome.
Thank you, Susan.
I always feel funny when I interview psychics because I think they're kind of looking right through me. They know stuff I don't know, or they know what I'm going to ask. Let me start with the hauntings, though, and all that. A lot of people are going through great pains today to kind of fix up the house so it's like a haunted house for little trick-or-treaters to come. But how do you know if a house you're in, or an apartment, or a condo for that matter, is really haunted?
Well, there really are three different ways that you can decide whether a house is haunted, and what we have, we call it the big three. And you either have a ghost, or you can have a haunting, or you can have what we call a poltergeist.
Okay, let's take those one at a time. All
right.
right. This is like haunted houses and ghost 101 here. If you have a ghost, a lot of people think, you know, the house settles and there's creaks and it's the wind, and you rationalize a lot of things away. How do you know the difference between something naturally that's occurring, and how do you know it's a ghost?
Well, how you can discern between them is that a ghost you generally may see in different parts of the house or different parts of the building. They will sometimes try to communicate with the people who live there in the home.
Actual,
oh yes,
you hear the
actual
voice?
Talking, and they will actually create a form, not only just a misty type form, but they will take on a form of their own body. And every time you see them, they may be wearing different clothes of the period of the time that they had lived, which is very, very interesting.
Okay, well, we'll do a little more on ghosts in a minute, but you said also the second thing would be a haunting. How do you know if you have a haunting?
A haunting is quite different, Susan, in that what that is actually is what I call an impression. And it's when the people who had been there before in another time frame, say at one particular place called the Brookdale Lodge, we have 25 different people.
Is that this?
Who are there. No, that is not this. No, this is at a building here in San Francisco, and what Lloyd and I are doing is we're looking for any kind of energy that is going on in the room.
Do you have to go in there alone? I mean, I assume the two of you are just there.
No, there's about 5 people actually that are behind us.
And would, let's say, somebody videotaping this so that we have the ability to see this, would that change anything about a ghost appearing or not? Are ghosts camera shy?
It might. They are very camera shy. And what you just saw there was a magnetometer, which Lloyd uses to detect to see if there's any different movement in energy. So
would it pick up noise like a Geiger counter would or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very similar. As you can see, there's some movement there.
Okay, so if you have a haunting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you have a haunting, I don't know. You're the expert.
If you have
a haunting.
It's quite different than a ghost. A haunting is something that is set into the building or the place. It's almost like a video film that is there. When I do a lot of police work, what I'm actually doing is I am picking up on the impression through the means of psychometry by using a photograph. And so you would call that an impression that has been placed upon the photograph. And so with the kind of mind that I have and the way that I have trained myself, I'm able to tune into that energy and be able to pick up the scenario that had gone on. I can move into before the person, say, was a murder case, had been murdered. I can tune into the murder case. I can see the victim. I can see the assailant. And I can also become the observer. Now, as in the case of down at the Brookdale Lodge in the Santa Cruz Mountains, we have about 25 people who had gone there many, many times and had this wonderful party. And what they have done is that they have left their impression of themselves or a haunting there at the Brookdale Lodge. So it's very interesting because they not only have a ghost, but they also have an impression or a haunting.
Who becomes a ghost? I mean, if I mean, is this something you could choose after you pass on? Or I've heard that it may be spirits who can't seem to move on to the next stage in an afterlife, or they have unfinished business here, or they're worried about somebody. What decides who's going to be a ghost?
It varies. Sometimes what happens is they get caught. Sometimes they don't even know that they're dead. Now that has happened many, many times, and I've picked up on a lot of ghosts that way because they were killed instantaneously either through an accident, an airplane, car, or whatever. And so they don't even know that they're dead. And so they're wandering around kind of looking to see if someone's going to come and get them. And they're afraid to move on into the light.
Can they be helpful?
Oh, extremely. The ghosts that I have run into have been very comical. Very friendly.
Good sense of humor, huh?
Yes.
Stand-up comedians as ghosts. I love it.
A great deal of humor.
All right, what do they look? Let's get some basics here. First of all, what do they all look alike?
Oh no.
I mean, do they all look like people? Are they all filmy? Or you mentioned that they may come back in their original costumes.
Yes, what they usually do is they generally, to me, they look like regular people. Except the difference is that I know that they're a ghost is that they don't have any feet.
And they never have feet.
They never have any feet.
So you know if you're in the presence of something without feet,
I know that it's a ghost.
Okay. Do they get attached more to persons or to places?
More to places, and they will generally stay either where they had died or they've gone back to a place where they had lived for a very long time.
Okay, so if you had a ghost that, let's say, died in a particular house and was maybe a parent in that house and was worried about its children, and the children moved out of the house, they would stay with the house or follow the kids?
They may do either. They may either stay in the house or they may follow the kids. And there are several cases like that where they have followed the children. And the children become very accustomed to having grandma there, it's grandma.
Okay, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll find out what's the likelihood of a ghost appearing to you. Does the fear factor kick in? Do you have to believe this? Can you be a skeptic? All that. And also, we'll find out about the Blue Lady at the Moss Beach Distillery when we return.